Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday night. It's Tuesday and it's PoliTalks, and we are back. When I say we, it's usually me and Frank. Um, but he's out there living his best life tonight, being a host with the most and stuff, bartending at some fancy place without me. And I am left here, but I digress. No, actually, tonight is a super important and exciting conversation, and Frank's probably really sad that he's missing it because it's something that we talk about, something that I don't think we explicitly talk about it. Let me say that something that we have discussions around, and today we are talking about race relations and racism in the Virgin Islands. And we have some amazing guests who are joining us tonight from the Act Out Ensemble, Theater of the Press VI. Ooh, ooh. So we're going to have four guests join us a little bit in the show. We're going to be discussing race relations in the VI, and hopefully we'll get to play a little bit. And you guys will see what I mean when I say play. But, tonight who will be with me, though, is Darren and Kemit, two of our usuals. Sid is out because she's not feeling well. And so two of the crew are joining just to be like, hey, what's up, Kem?
What's up?
Hi, Darren. How you doing? How you doing? I feel like me been on the show with Darren for like a super long time.
Really?
Yeah,
maybe he has.
Yeah.
I mean, Liberty.
Oh, God.
Yeah. A few times he tried to join us. He had issues, but I'm glad to see that. Yeah, I'm happy that 5G running well for you tonight, Darren. Always good to be with you.
Always good to be with you all. And I'm really excited because even more of the people who I consider my peoples is going to be on with us tonight. So tell me, before we bring them on, how do you guys experience or think about the topic of racism, race relation, any ism really? Because I think it's really not tonight's conversation is about race relations, but the tool and the vehicle that they're going to be discussing could address anything, really. So how do you guys feel the isms play out in the territory? Is it different than on the mainland?
Definitely. We had a similar conversations with, or Women's Coalition hosted a series of conversation around race. It's a few months ago now, and I was a part of one of those conversations. I think it's definitely there is a difference between on the mainland and on St. Croix. A lot of the folks that participated didn't experience quote unquote racism until they left St. Croix and went on to the mainland for college and whatnot. I was fortunate to go to an HBCU, so I didn't historically black university, and so I didn't experience it in the same way. And I think one of my points was the main point is when you grow up with a sense of pride, that that sense of pride that is what being a Christian is, and you know about William Gottlieb and Mary Thomas and all of the other amazing people, even the ones that exist contemporary. It's hard to think that you're inferior to anyone or any group. And so for me, it was a completely different experience because, like, I don't want to say that I had an ego and I thought that my poops.
You're a Capricorn. It's allowed.
Yeah, I know.
Go right ahead.
I can be petty when it's justified. But no, I think it's instead of it being more along the lines of an ego, I had a different idea of my self-worth, knowing where I came from and who I am, than maybe some other people. And so, even if somebody was to try to be racist towards me, it's like the whole idea of racism is to make yourself feel like you are superior to another group. And it's that, I mean, kind of like how water runs off a duck's back. It's like that's how I approach the situation, because it's like I know who I am. I know our history. I know that civilization began in Africa with us. I know that we all evolved from the same um, original people. They were all melanated, and they got lighter when they moved into different climates, to cooler climates, and their features change, etc. So you can keep the pseudo um, labels that you want to create for people, because they don't mean anything to me. And so even today, they don't mean anything for me, because it's all BS. And so I think the more that we teach our youth, not just the ones in the VI, but youth everywhere. I think it was Don Lemon that said, we need to stop posting pictures of white Jesus and post a picture of like what Jesus likely really looked like. We need to do the same for Queen Mary. We need to, every time we display her, we need to have, be true to what she looked like, and who her and her family looked like. But I digress. We need to start showing a real representation of Jesus, so that little white, brown, yellow, black kids understand their history, and a different sense of pride is created in us, and you can't try to make us feel inferior, because we know the truth. So it's a long soapbox answer to your question, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now.
So for me,
Darren?
racism. Oh, sorry. For me, racism. I didn't really experience my first instance of racism until I left the island for like vacation. So I haven't personally experienced racism in a VI, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And just I mean, you kind of see certain things online because you see it, because some of those people are only brave or keyboard warriors, but likely not to do it in front of people. So I would say for myself that I haven't actually experienced it in the VI, but if you're talking about online or away, yes, I have.
Okay. Well, that was just like a little touch point. I think it'd be great for us to bring on Sayeeda. She can join us. We can ask her a few questions. Sayeeda is one of my favorite people. So if I start goofing off, I know it's because, one of my favorite people is here. Hello, Sayeeda.
Summer, it's likewise. You're one of my favorite people.
Good night, Sayeeda.
Good night. That's my favorite person on Clubhouse.
You don't even know what point Darren is like Clubhouse King.
That's Mr.
He is like,
yeah.
Senor Clubhouse. But Summer, I've known you from when you were a little girl.
that is true.
And I wanted you to braid my hair. But, the work that you're doing in the territory that all of you are doing is tremendous, and it must be done. It has to be done. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad I know people that are doing the work. I'm glad that I'm not too old and tired to do the work. So I'm excited. I'm excited to share with you this evening a little bit about what we've been cooking up.
So, first of all, I want y'all to know Act Out Ensemble Theater of the Oppressed VI addresses a lot of things, right? Not the only in Theater of the Oppressed, I'll get to it. My brain is jumbling because there's so much to say, right? It's a mechanism of addressing any issue that you find in community, right? Like all of the isms can be addressed in it, and things that aren't isms, like the schisms, could come in, like a real Rastafari, like the isms and the schisms and everything else could be addressed in it. But when it came to race, I was interested in hearing Darren say he never experienced it, and I think I felt that way until I understood that there are levels. Like I went to the States a few years ago at a National Farm to School Network conference, and people were talking about racism, and I was just kind of oblivious, because that's not my predominantly Black and brown world. And then when they start talking about individual racism and institutional racism and structural racism, the light turned on because I realized that I experienced something else, right? I didn't really necessarily experience individual racism where I felt that there was bodily harm going to come to me, where people were in my face trying to give me individually that level of inferiority that you were talking about, Kemet. But I was experiencing something else, something a little level above. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I have been a part of a racist, I have had racist experiences, and it was on the institutional and structural level. And then like that blew my mind because now all of them isms, Saida, like had a fit. And then like there was a place where I could see it happening to me, and that was like a shock. It was like, and all the people of the Virgin Islands, and how I was part of perpetuating it in many ways, because I didn't even know certain decisions, like didn't know the impact of an intention or an action could actually lead to wielding like oppression on ourselves, right? So tell us, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Tell us what Act Out Ensemble is, what you guys do.
So when Darren was talking, I was like hot in backstage. I'm like, yes, you have, Darren, and I'm going to tell you how. But everyone who lives in a patriarchal society experiences oppression, right? You experience racism, you experience oppression. It's just baked in, as my mentor says, baked into the fabric of this type of society. So one of the things that, like you said, you had the realization, wait a minute, oppression is not just somebody calling me the N-word, right? Oppression is who makes my textbooks? What is their investment in making my textbooks? Who has created the structure of a society? Was that structure created for, as Kemet so lovingly said, the melanated people? Or was that structure created for someone in the dominant caste? So we are all a part of it. Whether you're a 1%er and you're super paid, and of course I'd love that because then I could do all the philanthropy that I want, right? But let's face facts. Many 1%ers, philanthropy is not their bag, right? So whether you're a 1%er or if you're like struggling in the hood, barely making ends meet, you're all affected by patriarchal structures. You're all affected by oppression. So even the most oppressed, let's say, young man of color in the hood, forced into the drug trade, you're out there, the cops are harassing you, you just want to feed your family, you're stressed, you're frustrated, you're being oppressed. But then you go home, you're beefing with your girlfriend, you're cussing her out, you're putting hands to her. Now you're the oppressor. So we're all on the pendulum throughout our life of both oppressor and oppressed. There's no escaping it. It's baked into our current world. But I believe we can unbake it. A lot of people say you can't uncook a chicken, right? But we can stop cooking that kind of a chicken. We can, there's so much that can be done just through conversation, through the ways in which you all are coming together in your lives, like creating spaces for these discussions. It's out there. And we don't have to problematize it. We just have to kind of demonstrate to people, hey, there's a better way to live that gives everybody a chance to eat, everybody a chance to be educated in a quality manner, everybody a chance, Summer's big thing, food insecurity. Come on, this is an issue. Just because I have my dinner cooked, which I'm going to eat after, that doesn't mean I don't want another person's dinner to be cooked. Right? I don't want another person to have access to the fresh foods and fish that I might prepare for my family. I want that for everybody, but it's a mindset shift. So Act Out Ensemble, we endeavor to start shifting people's minds through conversation, using different theatrical games and activities to just get people talking in a truly organic manner. We don't know the solutions. We don't put ourselves out there as, we're coming through with all the answers, but we are coming through trying to build capacity to have the conversation. So I can say more, but we are a part of a total world out there of theater of the oppressed practitioners all over the globe. It's just, I was lucky enough to be like the person who was like, I taking that back home, my son. I want to do that home. I have to do that at home. Home need this. I want to start the theater of the oppressed revolution, So having this experience with my cohorts and the people who do this work with me has just been just a blessed experience for me as well.
Speaking of the people who do this work with you, you're not here by yourself tonight. So if we could bring on the actors, right, the other participants in this revolution, we would love to have them.
And they are phenomenal. And this is only 3 of the, 15 to 20 people that rock with us. So we're building an ill-tight crew, and we're coming to get you. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we're having fun. Yeah, I think one of the things that one of our members, Mama Ajua, always says is, I'm not coming to your revolution unless I can dance. So while we're unpacking all these things, Mama Ajua reminds us to also have a good time. It's a good time pushing for change in your community and creating spaces for like-minded individuals.
So I just want to welcome Lindsay Randall. Please introduce yourself. Tell us how you got involved in Theater of the Oppressed. Again, more of my favorite people. And once I said, I'm just going to say it before they do. I'm a Theater of the Oppressed dropout. I was there, and then I didn't get to finish because I was so, and I was like, I'm going to name it. This is how I know how cool it is.
Never a dropout, just a cheerleader, a supporter. So we're not accepting your dropout. We need you doing what you're doing, and all of us are doing other things too, but this is just one way to come together.
Sommer, you just an intermission.
So good evening. My name is Lindsay. Yeah, good evening, and I want to say for you, Sommer, you didn't drop out. We're going to get you back later. We're going to be doing this couple times a year. You will have your chance and your opportunity to jump in. And Sayeeda's absolutely right. It takes all of us. We all have lives. We all have things going on. We all have, stuff happening. So what we do is really focusing on bringing home the issues that we're having, collaborate them, and start talking about them. And she's 100% correct. We don't have the answers, but we're trying to help give the space for the conversation, because the conversation over and over again gets labeled the conflict. The conversation is actually the road to the solution. And so we want to encourage people to have the conversation and to heal. I think 9 times out of 10 in every one of our meetings, we're healing more than we're contributing to a solution. And the solution can only come from healed people. We can't give you a solution yet. The people in the community, whether we're dealing with racism, gentrification, which is an offset of racism, a corrupt government, all of these things take root from oppression, all of them. So as we go down the list of things that are affecting us and are happening to us, it all takes root in one spot, and that's oppression. Where that oppression comes from, how it got to this point, that's another show, another time. But right now, that's what we're dealing with, the oppression and the fact that we're living in a system that constantly keeps us oppressed, and that we feel too damaged to be able to confront it and even talk about it. The conversations are hard. They start unraveling things in you. And we have had people react, and we have to be able to support them and be there for them. So one overlaps the other, and all of this builds a network and a net almost in our community where we're catching each other. So as a farmer, we've received a farm tienda through Sommer's program. As she goes into food security, we're very, very concerned about food security. So we're all building these little connections and networks. And if you miss a day, then I'm there that day. And if Sayeeda misses that day, then Malik could be there the other day. So that's kind of how it works. But to introduce us fully, we're going to actually play games with you guys. I guess you thought we were going to be the ones being interviewed, but Sommer, Kemit, and Darren, you're about to be the participants. Because what we do is not that we are actors. We are part of a community that acts. And a lot of the games and the facilitations that we're doing really are to demechanize the way you think about things and the way that you process information. So we want you to understand that the person being racist to you is oppressed, and they're acting out as an oppressor because of that oppression. They don't know any better, just like we don't know another way to get out of the oppression. And so making you take a step back, dropping your personal feelings about it, third partying yourself, and being able to play any and every role will help you see the problem more clearly. Okay, so we're going to ask you three to give us something that's going on in the community that's not, don't just do race related. Sayeeda wants to say something though. Just you.
See how good she is? She's just going with it. Have Malik Randall introduce. She was like, let's get into the work.
Let's do this.
Fellas. She did not even want you to meet the fellas. She was ready to get you working. But Malik,
that's right. Randall, sorry.
Malik and Randall, say a brief hello. How'd you come to do this work? What do you think of it so far? Because Lindsay was about to have fools acting in here.
Well, listen, I guess I got to speak. It's my turn, right? Lindsay, I was ready. I was getting my acting voice and I didn't know what I was going to be, or who I was going to be, or where I was going to be, but I was ready. You had me fired up. And this is what it's like in TOVI. Sommer, it is really good to see you again. I haven't seen you since summer school. Summer school, right? We were together at the inception or the conception of TO. And Kemit, brother, man, it's good to see you. It is really good to see you. Darren, likewise, always good to see you. I think last time we saw each other, we had a lengthy discussion about just some oppressive things going on in the VI in the parking lot. Do you remember that? He's like, what? He probably don't remember. That's okay.
I probably don't remember.
It's okay. We was at what the place formerly known as Plaza. But let me speak to TO if I can for a minute, because because I think Lindsay and Sayeeda just summed it up. But I wanted to give a little bit different perspective, a little bit more of the background of when I came on board at the beginning of TOVI, and that was we were at the beginning. You should remember this, Sommer, at the beginning of the height of where we got with Trumpism. We were very, very almost in a state of trauma, if I can say that. We were dealing with George Floyd and the murder of George Floyd, and the riots, the strong protests, the miscommunication. Just society was just, it was on fire. And so we went through this Trumpian pandemic, which was already spurred by a racial pandemic, and then of course followed up with a health pandemic. And we're still in all three of those pandemics. As people of color, more specifically Black people, we're dealing with, and we talked about it, I'm amazed that we went right into race, but we're dealing with systemic racism. We all know about systemic racism. When we talk about racism, some have not experienced it, some of them have it a little bit. There's just so many different levels, like you said, Summer. But then we forget there's a piece that's very, very important that we must recognize, and that's called strategic oppression. And there's systems in place that strategically oppress us. And we can talk about race, or we can talk about many different, like Sayeeda said, there's many different types of oppression. We sometimes even oppress ourselves and our families. We oppress people that look just like us, and we don't even realize it. Okay, we focus on how others don't look like us that oppress us, but we have other people within our society that do go through these things. Hold on, forgive me just a second. My dog can't get up on me, so I'm trying to direct him to go away. But when TL started, I really was drawn to it because it gave us a platform or a vehicle towards upliftment. A lot of us felt a certain way, and we were like, we're frustrated. I think we should do this. I think we should do that. Or I don't know what we should do. We're going through these things in our minds and in our souls, in our hearts, but we don't know what to do. When we got together, and Sayeeda brought us together, we kind of formed Voltron. If you're old enough to know what Voltron was, we came together, and we was able to. Yeah, I know about Voltron, right? So we did that, and was able to give us not only the ability to voice our concerns, but also gave the audience the opportunity to be here through their convictions. See, people aren't going to listen to us conversate. Folks aren't going to tune in tonight and listen to us if they didn't feel already convicted of why they aren't doing anything about what they're complaining about. So they're here because of their convictions. So it's part of some solution, and there's folks that want to be part of the solution, but they don't know what to do, so they feel convicted, so they tune in. What are they talking about? What are they doing? I can relate to that. Also, it allows us through this acting thing, because I'm not a great actor, but it's fun. It allows us to take our personal talents and then take it to the next level. We're able to use whatever talents we have and apply it to what we're doing in TL. And the big thing is we're constantly, every time we get together, every night that we meet up or day that we meet up, we're looking at bringing awareness. We want to bring this awareness. We want to get it out there. We want to make people aware that we can affect change or that it's happening. But then also we want to make that just simply awareness, like, look at this, look at this. We want to get that audience to say, okay, you know what? How do we take this awareness and create it into action? And so you three will be not just aware of what we're talking about, but you three will be able to, and I don't want to jump in and start sounding like Lindsay before Randall gets to speak, but you three will be able to get into some of the action tonight, okay? And hopefully you'll hear me say, you'll hold on, because Randall got something to say. You'll hear me say this is a big thing of mine, and that is, I feel like we as a people, we've lost our drum. In Africa, we communicated by using drums for everything that we did. We celebrated, we cried, we did many different things with the drum. And I think that we got away from that. And the further we get away from our drum, the harder it is for us to communicate as a people. So I think tonight, hopefully we can hear some drum beats, and maybe we can work some things. With that, I turn it over to my brother, Randall.
Yes, Randall.
Yes, sir. Greetings. Am I coming through good?
Yes.
I am. Okay.
You are coming
first time on this platform. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, this has been an exciting trip, I must say. It's been something that I've been interested in from a few years back. So it's good that Sayeeda had the muscle to do it, because I sure didn't. But it's I very much what Lindsay and Malik said is so much correct in the adverse of saying that it's a healing space. You know, it brings out so much in the conversation that even sometimes we get to talk our own personal business amongst each other. So it's kind of therapeutic in that way. And then, you know, things that you have seen, things that you have thought about, or some sharing some of our own situations and experiences and bringing it into theater, so that you know, we can find sometimes healing, but then sometimes we figure out, well, we could have done it this way, we could have said this way. So I mean, it's a revealing thing that in theater, it's drama, it's acting. None of us, well, not all of us, but most of us are not professional in any way. We just off the street giving this our best, like Malik said. But it's definitely fun. I mean, even if you want to join in and sit in and watch some, like what you're gonna see some examples tonight, but join in and come out to like a positive thing that we do over at Serenity's Nest. That's an event you could come out and watch, and see if it's something you're interested in, rather than sitting and we're just discussing. It's some form of action. It's some form of revealing to the public, in the essence of theater, bringing out the scenarios and say, huh, and also, from people sitting and watching, even what we experience in our first actual physical theater. You have people actually could see things that you didn't even think on and ask you a question in reference to, your behavior pattern. And it brings awareness even when you're not in that moment, so that it's prepping you for being in that moment. Just like Kemet, you were talking about your confidence. I know this is something that helps to build that confidence, you know what I mean? Because it would kind of be somewhat rehearsed. And I always tell people, they always talk about premeditated is bad, but I always say, well, premeditated in what? You know what I mean? Don't we want to premeditate what would happen in the given moment if a tsunami happens right now? Don't we want to premeditate if someone is drowning, what will be your reaction? You don't want to wait to react. You have to live it through your imagination. And as we always talk about things like that, when we practice good habits in our mind, and our example in the physical will be by good habits. So yeah, fun times.
So I want to say, if people watch PoliTalks all the time, they know that we kind of have like a side chat where I'd be catching gems and pearls, just like as a reminder for us of what's really being surfaced, right? And a few of the things I want to say, if you guys just joined in the show tonight, we have the Act Out Ensemble, Theater of the Oppressed VI. We actually, in a minute, going to be turning this stage over. I know you guys are accustomed of seeing us as the facilitators, but we are giving our stage up tonight to be part of a larger experience that you guys will get to witness. So we're going to be turning over the reins in a minute, but I wanted to recap some of the gems that I heard for people just learning. And sometimes the conversation's moving so quickly, we didn't even realize it. And what you said that really moved me was like, you said that we're creating a safety net, right? Working in this way, building capacity to have these conversations. Not saying I am the hero and I have the solution, but like to hold this conversation and be in relationship with each other is allowing us to build a safety net. And that felt good to me, right? Because one thing in my own personal life that I desire is to feel secure and safe in all aspects of my being, right? So when you said that, I was like, damn, that's good. Then the other thing, then Malik, when you said, you talked about the drum and us kind of being disconnected from the drum and the importance of the drum being used for celebration and communication and all the things, and like this opportunity to engage again in these conversations in this way with each other, being like us beating that drum again. And then Randall, Black imagination, and not just like, so I'm focused on Black imagination, but living it out through our imagination. That concept of premeditating, thinking through, right? What we want our community, our reality, our reactions and responses to be. So it's not reactionary, but it's actually thought out, and we are now have a little bit more. We know where we're going because we've taken the time to vision it, right? And this being a space of visioning together. So when you reference the practice and the play, like, yeah, what you're gonna see is rehearsed and it's also not, but it's us thinking about what it feels like to be in these positions together. Like those were like three overarching things that if nobody don't watch the whole show and they just captured those three moments, I feel like I'm changed. Kemet, Darren, we're gonna be going dark in a minute and turning this over. So I just wanted to know if I had anything to say before we just like become engaged.
Are you ain't going dark? Are you going to
I'm
do
about to
what?
say, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
I mean, we
I'm right here. I'm right here.
But what I was going to add to everything you said, because I feel like you truly encapsulated this conversation. And as I was listening to these three wonderful people who've taken time out of their evening to deal with these shenanigans, I was thinking, Lord, I need to write some grants so I could get them a stipend, man. It's like, I'm like, you guys are killing the whole game. But Augusto Boal was a Brazilian gentleman who was fed up with his community in the 60s and 70s. And he said, you know what? I got to do something. And he was also close to another Brazilian gentleman by the name of Paulo Freire. And Paulo Freire's thing, and I'm going to move on really quickly, is washing your hands between the conflict, the powerful and the powerless. When you do that, when you wash your hands of that conflict, you are not siding with anyone except the powerful. So you have to be constantly mindful of the people in your community that are suffering and struggling, and you have to prioritize them and engage with them because they have ideas about their own struggles and salvation. So what Randall referenced, we started up an in real life opportunity for our community where we'll be at Serenity's Nest the last Friday of every month. And we're going to continue to have a virtual theater company that is open to any adult person. And then pick topics. So our first topic was a mix. We have one virtual show in the bag. And our second cohort, we're working on gun violence alone. We want to deal with all the ugly manifestations of gun violence. So one thing I wanted to leave before we began the playing part, which I love because I'm a big 50-year-old kid, is that theater itself is not revolution, right? It is a rehearsal for revolution. So that that's one of the things Augusto Boal kept hitting home when he started this work. And I was fortunate enough to get this teaching from someone who was taught by him. Now he's now passed on, but I feel like, I'm, second generation, third generation. I'm not too far from the person who really mastered this work. In addition to what we're going to do with you tonight, which is called Forum Theater, that Lindsay will speak about, he did legislative theater. So eventually we'll be a group that can come in front of policymakers and say, hey, policymakers, this is what your community is saying. Are you going to listen to them, or are you just going to listen to them like, long enough to get their vote, right? So legislative theater, invisible theater. I might be in Sunny Isles walking with Malik, my husband, and Malik might just start hitting me in my head. What do people in Sunny Isles do or say about that? Now, me and Malik are actors, and he's not really abusing me because he doesn't want to, catch a hot one, right? But at the end of the day, women go through abuse in this community, right? So like invisible theater, legislative theater, forum theater. And there's also what we're going to show you this evening is forum theater. But several ways to engage your community. So one of them is forum theater, and that's what we endeavor to do with the three of you a little bit this evening.
Yes.
So we have to know about official. We in.
You are in. There's no backing out now, girl. So what we're gonna ask of you, why do we do improv first? We do improv because in real life you react on an improv level. And so we're trying to influence the mind to start thinking before the mouth starts vomiting, right? And the body just starts acting. And so part of what we do, we do some little warm-ups. We understand that our body carries language. We understand that our voice and our tone, it carries a language to it. And one thing that we want everybody to understand is that trauma in a person decontextualize over time, it looks like their personality. In your family, it just looks like a family trait. But in your whole community, your people, it ends up looking like your culture. So there has become
Yep.
cultural traits that are here for us that we are cycling and repeating. Sayeeda mentioned gun violence. We go straight to that firearm before we think of another solution, right? And there is so many reasons why that happens. And so we want to address this from all angles. You could stare at a mountain and on one side it looks one way, but other people are looking at the same mountain and it has different habitats on it. So we're going to ask the three of you to get a topic that you're passionate about, that's happening right now. What does PoliTalks want to talk about tonight? Because we're going to brush up on each other with that topic, Summer. So
If you
the three of
type those
you,
in the chat, type those in the chat.
Yeah.
Something that you feel, and we realize the audience is not seeing the chat, so we have the element of surprise. But Lindsay, once you get things in the chat, Lindsay's going to lead you in creating a forum theater piece. But just to warm up your theatrical muscle, I'm just going to come in for a few minutes and give you some two-person scenarios. Oh, I love the stuff that's coming in the chat. We go mashkan tonight, you know. You're sure politic. Okay. All right. So we do not use names. We use tropes. So don't even worry about that. But we do have kanto mash. But in order to, before Lindsay kicks off in a few minutes, I'm going to warm you up by using some ensemble members along with some members of your show. That is awesome. And so happy that I feel like I've arrived. I'm on here, like, ooh, right? We're going to use a quick warm up. So right now I'm going to ask Darren to be Kemit's dad. So this is a father and son conflict. Okay. I know Kemit had the more beard, but you know, hey, Kemit's dad, right? And here's the situation. Kemit, you walk into your father's room where he is clearly stressed. He's trying to figure out the monthly bills. It's nerve-wracking, but you don't see that initially because you're so excited. You got 100 on your biology test. You love biology. As a matter of fact, you want to do something in that field. And you are so pleased with yourself with this 100 in biology. You want to share that with your dad. Okay. Dad, you're very, very busy. The bills are way more than you can afford this month. You've got to concentrate on how to keep this family afloat. You can't take any interruptions or distractions right now. So the rest of us are going to turn off our cameras and we're going to see stressed dad and excited son. Stressed dad, excited son. And I will count you in and we'll see what you guys do with your first improv. 5, 4, 3. I would imagine Kemit will bust in and talk first. 2 and 1.
Hey, Dad, I got 100 on my biology test. Dad?
Yeah, that sounds kind of nice, but you know,
Dad, I
that's good.
said I got 100 on my biology test. You remember you promised that I could get whatever candy I wanted from the store if I got 100 on my biology test? and the PlayStation
Well,
5, and
I know I said these things to
the
you, Summer,
poodle,
but I can't do this for you right now, man.
and the McDonald's
really want
franchise.
to. I really want to do all of these great stuff for you, but I have a lot going on right now, man. But I am happy for you.
But you said if I got 100 that I could.
I understand what I said, and I'm saying I can't do it for you right now.
My stepdad's so much cooler than you.
Well, you can go over to his house if you want to.
All right.
And freeze. All right, all right. So as you look at that short scene, oh, we got a. Well, you ain't hear the McDonald's franchise. He went small. First, I think in the candy is a problem. Then he had PlayStation. I think he almost said Tesla. I don't know what's going on with this man. 100. Come on.
I can't lie, right? It was really hard to keep it proportion.
So this is the kind of fun we have, Darren. So before we move on, because there are going to be 2 more little warm-ups, what moments stood out for you? Is this something that could realistically happen between a son and a dad?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
I think what stood out to me is like, yeah, he made these promises, right? And it's like he couldn't explain why he couldn't keep these promises. So that was a tough part for me.
Yeah, but the scenarios is real, and I guess that's why some of these things are scripted the way that they're scripted as instigators for the improv, because it is something that happens in our community where a lot of times kids get money if they get good grades. They come home with a report card with good grades, they get good money or treats or whatever the case may be. So I like how real it was.
I like the part where Dad was reminding him that it's not that I'm not gonna hold true to my promise, but I can't do it right now, not yet. That was good.
Summer, you were going to make a contribution. Awesome.
Yeah, no, because Darren said he couldn't explain. Why couldn't he? Like, from my perspective, as a person who works with children, I think that a father could completely explain to his son, and I think that would have switched the conversation. Like, I'm really happy you made 100. Let me share and I think parents feel like they can't tell children. So I actually think that was a very real response, because we shelter our children from certain things and it can create like a void. But I think that he could have explained if he wanted to. Maybe he didn't know how. And so couldn't, and not feeling comfortable too. Like, yeah. Anyway, yes.
And it's something that I think he should share, because especially given that civics no longer exists in the school, like growing up, you need to learn money management and from somewhere. And if you're not going to get it from school, then, who better to get it from than your family?
But I will say too, in our response to you, Summer, right? I agree, but there's also the other side, right, where you actually explain it and they don't receive the message, and it does heap on more pressure on top of you. So I could see both sides to the equation.
But Steve father get he the PlayStation, Daddy. Steve father get he the PlayStation. What wrong with you, Daddy? Well, you ain't gave me that. Right? So it becomes, because we live in a capitalist society where things are the thing. And, just saying job well done, son, is not going to be adequate. Any last comments before we try another scenario? All right. Who are my next victims? All right. So this time I'm going to use Summer along with Lindsay, Summer and Lindsay. Okay. So Summer, we're all going to leave after I give the directions, except Summer and Lindsay. So Summer, you hear someone screaming from a building across the street. You stop Lindsay, Summer, to help figure out what's going on. Hey, help me figure this out. So Lindsay's a passerby. You guys are strangers. You're on the street. Someone is screaming demonstratively, fearfully. You hear that, Summer. Lindsay is walking by and you try to elicit her support. You feel like someone is in a great deal of trouble, and you feel like if you call the police, they might not show up in enough time. So Summer, you feel called to do this, but you want backativeness. You want backup. Lindsay, you do not want to get involved. No way, no how. All right, we're going to disappear and we're going to listen to Summer and Lindsay. Darren playing police team one disappear. Darren coming.
All right.
I'm going to count you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, action.
Oh my God, wait. Excuse me, you hear that? Oh my God. No, miss, excuse me. Miss, no, stop. It's an emergency.
Yes, what's an emergency?
Oh my God, you can't hear that woman screaming, or somebody, a child, somebody, like, they're screaming. Will you come with me to that building over there? I think somebody's in trouble.
Well, I would prefer not to. There's 911. There's other things you could do. I would prefer not to mind people's business personally.
Well, I mean, we minding somebody. You can't hear that screaming, miss. I don't think we're minding people's business. I just want to make sure that people are okay. And this is like a dangerous neighborhood, so I don't want to be too invasive. Like, if you could just accompany me to the door, just to the door, like right there.
I'm not a police officer. And if we go to that door and something happens, then what am I gonna do with that?
Listen, miss, we will, like, so we both know where we are. The police are not gonna get here in time. You can hear that screaming. We can't just turn our back. Suppose, like, we don't even know if that's a child. Like, that could be a life or death situation. I promise you don't have to go in with me, but at least follow me to the door.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. What I do know is that it's not my situation, and I will prefer not to mind other people's business. I mean, we're in an area where we can hear people's business. That doesn't make it our business.
That's what's wrong with people. What do you mean this ain't your business? This is our community. It's everybody's business. Suppose that was you or your children or a family member.
I don't have bad days, and I don't want somebody knocking on my door when I have a bad day. I mean, I think if you think there's a problem, you go call police. I'm not the one to deal with that problem.
I know, like, a bad day, like, and the police aren't gonna get here in time. And I'm just, listen, you don't even have to say nothing. I just, like, stand by that pole over there and watch me, because you're right, it could be dangerous. We're not sure. Just, like, they're still screaming. Like, please.
And freeze. Great job. Great job. So let's take a moment to process these two actors and their short warm-up. Were there any surprises in what you saw? Anything that challenged what you know or what you thought you knew? Anything
Are you asking us, the actors, or the other people?
Let's start with the other people, and then actors, you remain in your character and we might question you.
It's so like, right. It's real life. That happens. And it's not just necessarily that scenario where someone hears something that's happening right now. We know things are happening. Some of us are aware, and we're concerned, and it's an emergency. It's a hot topic. It's hot and pressing right now. We need to deal with it. And that's Summer's character. And Lindsay's character is the people in society that really don't either A, they don't give a damn, or it's like, you know what? I'm so desensitized to what's going on. Yeah, I know about it, but it is what it is. And so we see that in this short scenario. It happens all around us with many different things. And so I think that's what I got from the characters. It just resonates with me. It really
and don't
does.
forget the part with minding your business. You know,
Right.
that's
Leave
a
it
thing
alone.
that we do, especially, you know, and here, you know, oh, you need to mind your business and just, you know, go about your way. You
That's the
know,
way it
so
is.
yeah, for sure. You know, even in a situation, like we don't know, we hearing somebody hearing the screaming, but we don't know what type of domestic issue it might be. It could be an issue with husband and wife. It could be daughter and father. It could be son. It could be brother and brother. I mean, so, you know, and a lot of the times we just say, oh, we just need to mind our business, you know, let them deal domestic. Remember, they deal with their own domestic shit, you know. So
Yep.
yeah.
But even that too, the whole mind your business concept, that's not ours culturally. That, you know, when my mom, I guess she was a good sister, but my aunt, anytime she was out of line, you know, she got beat before she got home, and then she got beat again. So it's like the whole that
The village.
you know, village. It takes a village to raise a child concept. That was our culture, our heritage. So
Was
yeah,
It
it was.
goes-
It's
it goes back to
very,
that drum.
you know, we've
With that
somehow
drum.
navigated into this new, you know, all for themselves, you know, and you know, all the isms that you guys, Summer and Sayeeda talked about at the beginning, that there are all these trickle-on effects from capitalism, and you know, this whole crazy pseudo society that we live in, that is again not us. It's not traditionally us.
you see where you talk about the licks, when you get licks and then you get more when you go home, they now will call out abuse. Yeah, just by the way.
And what you're doing, put your hands on my child, right?
I also want to say that we left out the part that maybe I mentally can't deal with it. Maybe
You
I
already got your
mentally
own
am in a
trauma.
place that I cannot face that. I haven't watched the George Floyd trial once. Like I mentally can't deal with it. But there's that part of it that's like, hey, I can't take that on. That's down the street all the time, or I hear gunshots every night. I still need to sleep. So it's not that I want to turn around from it. I literally cannot deal with it.
I'm with you, girl.
So I think for my character, the thing is we don't even know what it is. It could be anything. All I know is that they're screaming, right? So yes, it could be a situation for the police, but it also could be a medical situation. It also could be a child home alone. So I'm just like, the insistence is, let's navigate and find out a little bit more about this. And then if I get there and we're okay, you can walk off, right? I just want to make sure, like I'm saying, stand by the pole, stand by the door. I just want, if something happened to me, then yeah, you could dial 911 and bust off. And that could also come from the same place of lived experience, right? Like seeing someone in our family harmed, nobody, and in my life, that's a true experience. Like nobody paid attention to like what a situation is. So like making personal promises that I won't be the person who does see and don't see, because I was that person who minded my business. And not to say that not minding your business would have changed anything. It's a personal accountability, because if I call in this my community, right, then what does it mean to be a part of a community? But, you know, there's also a line of respect of like thinking about what people can also handle, you know, like you say, our character just can't.
Yep, but you engage with that character well. You didn't force me. You said, well, maybe just take one step so that I stay in your view. And so I felt like the direction that you carried it, Summer, was the direction of, well, we can do this together. We can do this. Even if you're scared, I'll go farther than you. Just watch me. Yeah. So again, that built that dialogue. And so now that we have that in our mind, we're able to process instead of turning around and be like, what's wrong with you? You don't hear the people like yelling? Get your ass moving. Like, it doesn't help to add more drama to the drama. Right? So
there's also the
but it could have totally been that.
It could have been, especially if that was really somebody screaming for help. Your reaction and my muted reaction could cause you to go tenfold. So,
and there's also the flip side to Summer's character, where it's, you know, the person being nosy just to be nosy, that will run up with her camera phone and be like, world star, and it's not about helping.
World
It's
star.
about being the first one to post that so-and-so got hit, or whatever the case is. You know, all the videos that I see, especially from home, you know, like somebody just gets shot and they're in a car, and a video is out on social media with a deceased person in a, like, that's again not a part of our culture. And I don't know where that came from. I wish to hell it would stop, because
it came from patriarchy.
There's nothing that honestly pisses me off more, and the fact that, you know, somebody's loved one isn't allowed to be contacted first, and they find out about it because it was posted on social media. It's just the craziest thing. Like, when you talk about dehumanizing like someone, like, that's just the craziest thing that I've seen pop up in the last few years. But there is that side of, you know, Summer's character, and I know that's not Summer, but there are people that thrive off of wanting to be able to post the first video or share stupidness.
And well, I think what Kemit just said brought me to the understanding that we're conditioned to think that that is something cute about that, right?
We're not people,
like,
we're not human beings.
Hey, you see where they blow the man head? No, I didn't see where they blow the man head. And I don't want to see where they blow the man head. But I mean, like, my partner, he gets things all the time from colleagues of his. And I'm like, dude, you're vicariously being traumatized. Please tell old boy to stop sending you that madness. And, you know, it hurts. Those things hurt. And it even hurts more if it's your family member, right? It hurts enough that it's your community. You know, like I was looking at a young man, you know, I took a glance at it and I was like, what? And then I realized I taught that young man's sister. I've done poetry with that young man's other sister. Like, it's devastating, right? So it's truly devastating. Well, we're going to do one more of the practice. And then I feel like, you know, they look like TOVI material to me. So then we'll move on to what a forum theater looks like. And there's 3 tremendous topics in the chat. So we'll see which one we can do a piece on. But the last 2 characters will be Malik and Randall, and they'll be affectionately known as Church Boy and Not So Much. So Malik, do you want to be Church Boy or you want to be Not So Much?
It don't matter.
Okay, Church Boy it is. I'm gonna let you.
He's a good actor. That's why he could play any role.
It's more fun when you can't identify with the characters.
Okay. So you guys are brothers and you are walking to wherever your family has deemed it necessary for you to be devoted every Sunday, right? So every Sunday morning, you 2 gentlemen walk out and go to your neighborhood church at the behest of your parents, who sometimes don't go themselves. So you're walking over to church together. Church boy, Malik, you are devout, like you would never let a Sunday pass without going to church. That's pure blasphemy for you. So you're into church, you're into receiving the word, and you love it, right? And that's true for many people. Now you, Randall, you're not very religious. you feel that this is something that is put upon you by your parents. So you're going to say to your brother, you're only, 1 or 2 years different in age. You're going to suggest, hey, watch another man. Let's go hang out at the park for a couple of hours and then go back home and tell, the parental units that you've been to church. All right. So you got church boy and not so much. All right. So we're going to turn off our cameras because we are not Randall or Malik. And I'm going to count them in: church boy and not so much. 5, 4, Sunday morning. 3, 2, and 1.
Come on, Randall. Come on, let's go. We're gonna be late.
Man, we take our time, man. No, we need to take our time, man. Next Sunday we're gonna be right back here. What Sunday, it don't matter. You know what I mean? Just take your time.
We can't be late.
Church ain't going no way.
Randall, we late every Sunday. We cannot be late.
Man, you know what, late? I missing all the cartoon on Saturday going to confirmation class, and now I gotta come to church. That's why I'm missing my cartoon. I got plenty of them in the church. Don't worry yourself, man. Just keep walking.
I need my Bible,
you know what I mean?
I need my Bible. Umi gave me this Bible. I need my Bible. Matter of fact, here's your Bible. Here's your Bible. Where's my Bible, though? I gotta have my Bible. Where's it at? You put it
up. You could pull it up on your phone. Just download the Bible app, man. You know what I mean? And while you're doing that there, while you doing that there, I gonna have my video game playing, okay? Because I know I'm missing my cartoon. I wish I had the Cartoon Network on my phone. Yeah, man, I'd put it right in between my Bible and the church. Yeah.
You know what? If you wasn't older than me, and if Ma didn't tell me that I gotta respect you, I would have some things to say to you right now. You know I need my Bible. We're gonna be late. I know you hit it. Because here's yours. Where's mine?
Yeah, look, I know. There we go. So watch out. You're right. You go check home. I'll sit on here and wait for you. Just make sure. Wait, let me see. Wait. No, we gotta go across the street. I gotta get signal, and then I'll be over there. You go home and get a Bible, okay? Yeah.
So you
home. I remember seeing it on the table. No, I sit on the table on the way out.
I'm gonna go back to the house, but I'm gonna go quick. You bet not leave. I'm gonna tell. I'll be right back. No, I ain't doing that. We gonna go now. Let's go. I'm gonna put it up on my phone like you said. Let's go.
Because there you go.
God don't like ugly.
And
no, you don't.
You're being ugly right now, Randall.
All right. Round of applause for Randall and Malik.
It is storm about it.
Yep.
Right. So as you watch that scene, what questions do you still have about Church Boy and Not So Much?
I have a question on. No, but I have a question on why are their church experiences so different, right? They're brothers. There's not much difference in age. What is it that either is pulling one towards it or pushing one away? Like, is it actually the same experience, but they now have different mechanisms of coping with it? I don't know.
All right, you should ask them. They will remain in character. Church Boy and Not So Much.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because my brother got the biggest attitude. He don't respect nobody. He don't respect our mother. He don't respect our father. He probably don't respect God. So that's probably the problem. I don't know what it is either. I mean, if he can hide my Bible, it's the problem. tell the truth, Randall.
Yeah.
So let me ask you,
no,
why not? Why don't you like church?
Well, from an honest point of view, in character and out of character, I'm gonna put this because for one, I don't believe that there's a problem with that you should not be going to some form of education in terms of spirituality and religion. But and this is really coming from somewhat of a true sense, because I was forced to go to confirmation class and go to church on Sunday while I was attending my 2 years confirmation. Was it a bad thing? No, it's a good thing. But at the same time, the reinforcement of that spirituality wasn't there. I think, with a reinforcement of that spirituality, meaning to, like you said, the parents would be going to church along, showing the importance of that religious day. That's like me telling my son he has to hold the Sabbath, but then I don't hold the Sabbath. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the reason why they could be that fight down in that division, because here it is the two brothers going, one believing what mommy and daddy saying, and the next one is like, that's bullshit. They ain't even going. You know what I mean? So, there's that to siphon in between.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to add
we
to that.
see
Summer,
it. Children receive things differently because they're two different people,
Yeah.
and sometimes church boy might want to go to church simply because he's a mama's boy. Mommy said you need to go to church. That's what we do.
That's right.
And Randall's character might be, yeah, I love my mother too, but I'm not gonna kiss her butt every day and do everything she says. I don't like church. I'll get there when I get there if I go. It's just people
them second children dangerous. Them first children are like, we got
Remember,
this. And them
I'm
second
the
children,
Randall's older than me.
yep.
So,
Now,
younger
for the
children
record,
get everything.
for the record, I have never once skipped a day of Sunday school when my mom sent me to confirmation Saturday or church on Sunday. I have never once. And every time she give me my $2 to put in the pan, that $2 went in the pan every single time. Just for the record.
Is your mom?
I can't make that claim.
For the record,
I cannot make that claim. Sorry.
I slept in the Sunday.
Yeah.
Or
I was gonna add, Summer, sometimes it's the parents. Sometimes you just have polarized parents, because like my mom and my dad, two completely different ways of thinking when it comes to church. Like, mom was a Sunday school teacher, and dad gave me Diop's book, The African Origin of Civilization, and he said that was our Bible. So sometimes it's just that, who's more like mom, who's more like dad. If
and I want
Uncle Mo.
Yes, and we do things culturally without thinking about it sometimes. So it's like blind faith. If you're going to church, you're gonna get something out of it. I could get sleep, and I might dream something better. I'm just saying, like, so we follow patterns without context. So without that context behind it of why you're going to church, what am I really going to use this for? His mind clearly doesn't want to go to church, while this one's mind wants to go to church, and we don't have to treat every child the same. They're allowed to be who they are. So, and we don't have much time left.
To run a reggae tune, sitting in your church on Sunday, thinking who you're going to screw Monday.
Yes.
Who you're going to cheat. So maybe Randall is just good at seeing the corruption. Maybe that's the issue as well too. But I'm turning this over to the lovely Miss Simmons, a goddess among women, and she had 3 great choices in the chat. I don't know how she's going to get you guys to settle on one, but if we hear what they all are, maybe we could do a Democratic.
Yeah, we have Lime Tree, WAPA, and food justice. Let's go over quick what our stances are. Summer, why'd you pick food justice? Like, we don't have much time. Throw it out there in 2-3 minutes.
So it's racial justice. I'm doing a 21-day equity challenge, looking at racial justice within the food system. So that's why on top of the mind.
Okay, so we're talking about the racial issue in it. Kemit, I think you threw out Lime Tree.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm not married to it if there is another road we want to take, but there's a lot around just the BS that is Lime Tree. And not only that it exists, but the way that it restarted, given that the people that we've elected to make decisions on our best behalf know what the issues are, yet they still found a way to
sell us out.
benefit personally off of it, and not think about it as a holistic community-wide thing.
Okay. And Darren, you threw out WAPA.
So for me, like WAPA just encompasses a lot of things. Something that's been, I'll be nice. I'll be inefficient, but it's been inefficient for too long. So now it got to the point where it has such an economic drain to our society, and it puts so much stress onto people who have to deal with these bills, and the outcome of that, and what it does to society. So that's why I pick WAPA.
From my point of view, that is a rabbit hole of a conversation. We don't have a solution to WAPA yet. And so it is something worth throwing out there constantly to encourage the community and the people to start to take action, not just against WAPA, but to filling the gap of WAPA, because we all need electricity. So that one would be built around the discussion, while the other two we could take direct action towards. So the three of you kind of, again, you got like 2-3 minutes. Shoot one out there.
They chose.
What's
they
your
chose
most,
in the chat. I think we're going with food security and how
food security. All right.
We actually have a good percentage of this call who are dealing with that in various ways. Black folks gotta eat, right? Says Malik Carlos. Malik, I took his lead. He started planting every Jesus Christ thing he could. When COVID hit, I started putting some trees in the ground. Lindsay and Randall are legit farmers. And then, of course, our lovely host, Summer. So I think that's a good one. I love it. So as you notice, I was calling Malik Church Boy and I was calling Randall not so much. We never in Theater of the Oppressed use people's actual name. We create almost like a trope or someone that is represented in society either as the oppressed or the oppressor. So as you move on in this conversation about food security, the first thing we have to establish is who could be in a scene like this. And all good drama has conflict. So what could be the conflict? So I like to tell our ensemble, who are you? How are you related to one another? Then where are you? And lastly, what is your issue? Because theater is no good if everything works, right? Something has to be a conflict to press up on. A mutual friend of Lindsay and I, Sanufa, she says that, this is the chance where we brush up upon each other, and the brushing up on each other helps us grow. So, Lindsay, what could be some characters? I just want to watch. I want to get my popcorn.
You wrong. Everybody else has had to act. You need a role. We dragging you in. That's right. And we got to rotate people in and out of this. So Miss Sayeeda is going to be in the hot spot. We need
a commissioner of agriculture. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to say, we need an actual government official, baby. We need to keep Serenity's nest too. Go gentle. But no, seriously, we probably need a government official, your everyday person who just shops, and then a farmer. Those are the three sides that I'm seeing. Summer, help me out, because this is really like, I'm the farmer perspective. You're the head honcho of all the perspectives on this one.
So I think, funnily enough, we need a restaurateur and we need a parent, somebody who's actually really trying to feed their child.
There we go.
Perfect characters. So,
Yes.
having seen Kemit's great work with the whole fishing thing, I charge him with the job of restaurateur. And plus, I know that restaurant would be laid with all kinds of photography, the most beautiful things. So, restaurateur.
There we go.
What do you think for our other people here? Summer, you want to feed your child? Summer
Summer's
is
parent.
Yeah.
parent. Lindsay will have to do what's called the jokering. So once she gives us the rest of our roles, she will continually problematize our situation and throw things out. We're going to run it once and see what we come up with. And then and it's all improvisational. Our pieces are not scripted. We don't write plays. We go off the cuff and find out what works and what sticks. So what else do we need? We got a parent, we got a restaurateur.
What's the
We need a
conflict?
farmer.
We need
You
a
gotta create the
conflict. Yep,
conflict.
we need a. So
So
we're gonna need another role still.
a farmer, Malik, you can be a farmer.
Or
Hmm?
how about the child? Because the child's
Mommy, I don't want none of that. I want McDonald's. You
yeah,
want none of
that food at school, you know. Why the groceries why the produce in the grocery store look so bad? Things of that nature.
Right.
Why are they bringing in avocados from Guatemala?
I could be government official.
Yes, and I want that.
There we go.
Because I know you'll do a better job. All right, so we got a government official, we got a restaurateur. Randall is a farmer. He's been typecast. Malik, you just don't understand what's wrong with you. The food is fine. Why are they making a big deal about this farming nonsense? And I can be Summer's daughter. Mommy,
There we go.
So I have a conflict though. The restaurateur is pissed because I'm trying to make my SNAP card work at the farmer's market, and he's behind me in the line. So like my kids are fighting with me. I'm trying to get this done. He's telling the farmer how much money he spends with him all the time. You know, like I'm feeling overlooked because the farmer is asking me to step aside just to get this done. Like, you know, drama.
And the government official is walking the grounds and seeing it. Their interaction is people passing by, and his job is to clear up the situation.
Let's try it. All you do is you try it, and then you see what works. You try it again. You see what works. So in our rehearsal process, this is what we do. We have lots of conversations. We try to tease out something that is quite plausible and realistic. And then we play with it a little while until we see how we want it to stick. And then when we present it to our larger community, they can come in and tap us out and become a character who brings about a more equitable situation, more fairness. So for instance, our government official could be not supportive of the mom. Miss, you're going to have to move. There's a big customer here. You know, we got to just play with it. Okay. So we'll start with maybe me and my mom in the line.
Yes, you and your mom in the line, and Randall is the farmer selling you the goods. And then along comes the rude restaurant owner. So, oh, wait, are you the restaurant owner?
No.
Oh, I thought Kemet was the restaurant owner. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got farmer, we have restaurant owner, we have mommy, we have daughter, we have government. Damn the man. Malik, where is your role, Malik?
I'm just enjoying the food at the market. I'm the
You're
nosy.
foodie.
I'm enjoying myself.
You're the nosy foozy. All right. So I'm coming out so that I could just watch. All right. So I'll count you guys in. And Summer, you approach the farmer and get ready to make your purchase with your food stamp card. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's a hurry. We have to go. Hi, Mr. Mama. How are you doing today?
Mommy, we
Everything
could
I
go
man.
McDonald's when we leave here. We could go McDonald's, mommy.
Gosh, McDonald's what? You see me talking to a farmer? Listen, I am so trying to wean her on these things. Tell me how much for that's zucchini over there you have?
Yeah, man.
Me
Zucchini
like
and squash.
that's slimy, mommy.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Two things. You think that we use them squash to make a version of French fries because we are trying to get ourselves, off of this long-term diabetes, chronic disease track. She talking about McDonald's. I'm just over it, right? We are not going to
Man,
continue to suffer with morbidity.
the first thing is you this is what we're gonna be so late for you to want to correct such a big child. It's gonna be difficult. But the thing is, this is you teach them the nutrition as part of it. You know what I mean? And instill the nutrition and teach them some knowledge about the food and show them that the food from the very beginning must come from trees.
So listen, this is why I love you. Come here. Tell me, you got a new Snap weight thing because it tell me I could use my benefits
wow.
in the market.
Snap.
Yep, yeah, man. I get a machine, yeah, man. I get a machine. You know how well. Hey, I don't even know if the people realize that food stamp in the first place was created for farmers. It was all about the seeds.
Okay, we're
I was so happy. Take my card and give me £2. Excuse you,
ma'am.
You addressing me, sir?
No. Like, you people are the worst. Like, I spend.
Anyway, Mr. Farmer,
I spend $50 every week. $50 I spend here every week.
That's what I'm saying.
But
actual green dollar bills.
Please take my
yeah,
stuff
but it don't. But hold on, man. It don't even matter. The point is, for me, it's about the food. It don't matter what money you bring. You could bring EC if you want to. I take that too. You know what I mean? The point I talk about is I want to make sure the people get the food. It ain't about the money. It's about the food, organic.
Mr. Government man, Mr. Georges, you guys allow
Hey.
How's this
hold on the noise.
If he doesn't have money? Like,
hold on. Wait. Hold on. A whole lot of argument on government property. I don't pay me enough for this, I'll cool out now.
You need to address the person who is being rude in the market as I attempt to send my Snap $100, which is $56 million in this community.
To buy some parsnips.
First of all,
can't even look
whoa, hold on.
Hey, what is that
You better let me talk before I fling you out, You better let me talk before I fling you out. Hold on.
Mr. Government.
Let me tell you this, right?
Hold on. Excuse me, sir. You watch this whole situation. Could you please tell me how I'm wrong? Am I wrong for wanting to spend my dollars here to feed my family?
Except it's not your dollars. It's my dollars.
Okay, hold on. We need to get down to the bottom line. What kind of food you're buying for your young daughter here? You're getting some.
I want the zucchini, the squash. I mean, 2 pounds.
This was zucchini? Cheese and bread.
Yeah.
You don't eat from this market.
Does McDonald's
well, hold on. The point was a little bit of being educative. Now, as a restaurant owner, you could have chimed in and at least tell the young lady a little bit about how you could cook the food to make it flavor better. Now, all of this for what? I mean, the money is money. It don't matter what color the money come. You know what I mean? I want to aid the situation in the right way, man. You know what I mean? Aid the situation in the right way. You know what I mean? Yes, we take Snap.
Also for locals, Mr. Restaurantarian.
I always got to be the local. Cheese and bread.
Why are you here? This is the problem with our government workers who don't have any motivation to see what's really going on with our people. But if I want to find that crazy,
guess what?
This morning, you'll find out.
But guess what?
I get in the front of this line. Guess what? We don't do.
Guess what?
All right.
Guess what? I might be a government worker, but I don't need to use Snap. I don't need to use Snap to get my stuff.
All right, well,
No, wait. You trying
I'm
to
gonna
say
try Food
something
Town.
about my mommy?
Listen,
Were you trying to say about my mommy?
a blessed
This is the perfect.
Oh God.
Check yet, Mister. I
The market is fun.
I come back every week and I try to support you. His money more important than mine.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Mine is
cut.
That was a good scene. There was conflict in every direction. That was awesome.
I mean, that was a typical Crucian conversation of going nowhere. And all Malik
everybody
did
was involved too.
was shift
Everybody.
eyes. So Malik, what did you see?
It was an awesome feeling to be, because I go to the market. Well, I used to go to the market every Saturday, so I felt like I was at the market, and it was a perfect setup. Sommer, Kemit, and Darren, y'all in TO, because y'all just went with it. It was perfect. What I saw was it escalated, and everybody's timing came in. It was almost surreal in that everybody's role fell into place. You could see your character. Sommer was the mother, complaining about one issue to another issue to the, how do I use this? So she exposed a series of issues with that. Then Kemit came in from she said, that he wasn't a local owner. So obviously he's not from here, but he has a business now. So she exposed that, and Kemit was kind of rendered silent. And then you got Darren, who was an official who got offended by pointing the finger at him. So, and it just, to me, I was very comfortable just watching the action. So I'm this character eating like, ooh, because you know how we can be so nosy. We're not taking sides. And then Randall, who's like, listen, I'm the farmer here, and I'm just saying, we should stay local and we should stay healthier. And why don't you teach her how to cook her food restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
It was just, it was a great mashup of different situations. And my plum tastes
The only one trying to bring balance. I see you love your plum. The only one trying to bring balance was the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Our government official was horrible.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you played it to the T. But it also telling that that's what you view our government officials as sometimes. So when we play roles that we don't associate with, it's what we view in that role. So it's not just an added drama. You're acting out how you view our government responds to things and to our people. So what we usually do is take a spect actor, which is somebody that may have a way to change this, may have another solution that they could bring to the table. We don't have any leftover actors. But Malik didn't really do anything. So what if our community stepped in and helped bring that leveling ground with the farmer? So that's something we could try to fit in to replay, is that our community should be like, well, hold up. Maybe we can help this mom while you service the the restaurant owner at the same time. Maybe we could help this situation.
One quick thing I wanted to bring in, when you see these scenes, the most simple processing questions are, so what did you see happen, right? And then, so what? What about what you saw? Like, where are these characters left? How do they feel? And how does this experience make all of them feel, right? Me as the kid, right now, I'm feeling like our government officials are punishing people for being poor, right? And looking down on people, and no one says, hey, when I grow up, I'd like to be poor, right? So the condition of poverty is something that is tremendous for people. So it was almost like looking down on me. So what did you see happen? So what? What about it? And then now what? The now what is what Lindsay's getting to. How can, let's say, Malik's character come in, interrupt the injustice, and put out a new stance that could make people say, I never saw it that way, or I never felt that way. Also, like, thinking of your characters, let me just do a quick round robin. Kemit, as the restaurateur, what were you feeling in this moment? Your time is being wasted. Like, what were some of the feelings that you had?
Yes, that was a big part, like the time being wasted, because of, it's in a lot of industry, it's about quick transactions, in and out, get it done. It's contrary to the concept of, the market scene, where people are having legit conversations, and they're taking their time working through whatever it is. It should be, I have to go to this market, then into this other market, to the Fisher, to the Annalee Farm. Yeah, I have all these runs to make before my team starts to prep.
And then for Mr. Government to bring out another reggae song by Danny I, Mr. Government. I'm a reggae lover. Darren, how did you feel in that moment as you watched this confusion in your community, and this, mom insisting that her voice be heard? Is she wasting time? Is she alienating big business?
So for me, it was like there's like this conflict that's going on. Is like people getting loud, the arguments, like, yo, that's not necessary, And I was like, yo, let's try to settle this down. Everybody has a right, to get access, and we need to get things moving quickly because there's people waiting on the line. She got her stuff going on. Maybe she need to like step in the side and let other people pass. Like, that was kind of like the mindset I was going with.
Nice. And then Randall, you seem to have a level of sympathy for the mom. Can you say a few moments, and then we're going to do the hard part? Come on and solve this.
I honestly have some sympathy for both parties. I'll be honest, because me being as an impatient person and understand that need for time, because I don't do crucian time in reality. But at the same time, the education for the uneducated mom, especially because there's a child involved, there's always that special extra time needing to be made when a child is involved, in terms of a slight quick education that could have been rendered from the chef, even opportunity to invite them over to his restaurant and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to cook something that I would like you to try. You know what I mean? And he could cook her, if she likes fish or chicken, you could put that, but, complement that zucchini and stuff on the plate in a different way that maybe, we could say, hey, this is a challenge for me to, and get, that's kind of more what I was leaning on, in the sense, especially being as a farmer, I want to be encouraging the child to eat the food, along with, of course, encouraging the restaurant to buy the food and cook the food, because that's how the food gets out there to the same people that needs it. Just talking about, and briefly off topic for a quick second, I was just reading a thing on arugula, and arugula is not as popular as it was in the Mediterranean area of the world, especially Italy. And so even right now we're growing a whole heap of arugula with that inspiration to try to have people to tame their taste buds a little bit toward one of the simplest form of greens that is not so much cherished on this side of the world. So I mean, you have to step outside the box. Yes, we concern about how much it's going to sell, but at the same point, it's food, and it should be encouraged. It should be encouraged, and we should be encouraged to grow diversity of food, and not just keeping training people palate to the same type of food. Moving on.
Because apparently Kemet wants some parsnips. Listen, on the arugula flex, sold. I love it.
Yes.
But
awesome.
yeah,
So
the mom
Summer,
is.
how's the mom feeling? Sorry about that.
So I think for me, the mom's character is feeling pushed aside again, right? Like I have to come second to big business, and it's not just about the market; it's about the climate of my community. That me and my daughter are trying to seek our health for our family. You think I just sit here playing and I'm trying to break chronic disease cycles because my dad and my grandma have diabetes, right? I'm morbidly obese. I have a young child. I'm trying to be like, I'm waking up to the fact that eating patterns is her life. So people telling me to stop is like you saying, shh, I don't want to hear you. And she's actually tired of not wanting to be heard. So she can't even hear anybody else because from the time that first person made a comment, she's not even aware of who it is. But her defense mechanisms went up and she instantly went into like warrior mode, like you ain't gonna shut me up today kind of vibe.
I just curious as to why the government official never confessed that he's married to the mother and daddy to the little child.
Because the old child support.
Where'd he go?
Look, he run and disappear.
He left
That
the
woman
building.
out here causing confusion again.
I want to say though, for the mom's role, it was interesting that the government role didn't see that as our future. So the government's role did not identify the fact that tomorrow it's the child who's going to be the restaurant owner. And he's giving in to the restaurant owner today for whatever reasons are known to him. But tomorrow, if you want our people to own that restaurant and you want our people to be of sound state in mind, to be able to educate and grow and be healthy and be a contributor in this society, one of the things they need to do is eat right. So that whole part was like, it hurt me to know that our government never turns around and says, well, damn, tomorrow is our people. And that role plays into why Lime Tree, WAPA, and food security all overlapped, because it's damaging our tomorrow as a whole. So we're going to spectator this. Me and Sayeeda have been...
Theater of the oppressed, bringing conversations.
Awareness.
So we need a role. Where is the best role that we could change the outcome of this, guys? Like, I want to hear your input, because me and Sayeeda have our input, but where is the role that could make a turning point in this?
The out of the characters that are already here would have to be the government official and the restaurant owner.
Yeah,
I think the farmer could, but really the farmer's already doing what he's doing. Now he could probably link up with the restaurant owner, but he's most effective if he linked up with the government official. He can maybe reassure the mother with some upcoming thoughts, ideas, and maybe even plans that's coming. He maybe can give her some advice. And then of course he can pat the daughter on the head and kind of give her some reassurance or slide her a piece of fruit or whatever, well, she wants McDonald's. Mom doesn't want her to eat that, so I wouldn't give her candy.
Oh,
maybe a PS5.
This big child, as she was labeled, this big grown child. But so as a realistic person, the government's not gonna change, and the restaurant owner doesn't give a crap because he owns his restaurant. So for me, the most promising person in all of this to bring any change to this situation is the people, which would be you, Malik.
Yes.
That's the number one person that is the most flexible in all of this. So that would have been the role that I would have picked to come in and actually do something besides literally just watching it and eating a plum.
I also think that, each character's role could have been, or response could have been different, because you have your restaurateurs that will go to the market and never say a word to anyone but the farmer. You have those that would actually respond to the mother, who might actually just pay for her whatever. And so I guess the way that I, as the restaurateur, approached it could have been different, and it could have led to a completely different outcome also. The same thing with the government employee. His response could have been completely different. And in a real society, although we do have some people that I know of in agriculture that are legit right now, and in most government agencies, it's just unfortunate that they all seem to be crap right now, or have always been crap. But one day we'll fix that. But there are, I think, some government officials that may have stepped in and been proactive. And ironically enough, some of those government officials are people that aren't even from Sikori that would have stepped in on the mother's behalf. And I think it's important to call that out also, because there are some transplants, expats, or whatever you want to call them, that are actually have good hearts and want to see a better community, and that's why they're on Sikori.
And I do agree with your point, where you were saying that the situation could take a turn. It could take a turn in many instances, like you were saying, because you could have gone and we could have just put the mom on the side and say, give me a couple minutes, let me get you out the way, see what I'm saying? So there's many, but for the sake of conflict and resolution, I guess you played a good part. Yeah.
So I think what would have, if somebody, like really in that role, if somebody had just said, give me a couple minutes, let me put you on the side, I wouldn't have budged. But if the farmer had said to me, give me a moment, I have a recipe I want to share with you, detracting me by wanting, actually, I hear what you're saying about your data, you want to learn how to make the fries, let me show you. That redirection of my attention to what would be best for my data, or I have something for you to read, would have it would have engaged my mind, like, okay, later, like, I'm gonna step aside now. So even Randall saying, if the restaurant,
you would have felt supported,
had said, you know what, I do know a zucchini fry recipe, then I might have built it easier. And they were like, oh, really? Let you go ahead and pay for that. I would love to hear about it. And it might have been on someone has followed us. Go to this website. You'll see a whole bunch of healthy vegetable fries things. And I wouldn't have felt like I was being removed out of the situation or overlooked.
Yeah, one of the things that this is calling to mind for me is like going to shop on the first of the month and having to be like watching myself and my own implicit bias being hypercritical about what's in people's carts. That's my bias. Who am I to be there, looking at people's carts, right? One of the things me and Lindsay fantasize about doing is like showing up with a bunch of recipe cards. Here's something other than the heat and eat. Here's the hookup cookup, right? So Summer's doing that already, right? So getting in on that flex, but getting that done, making that happen. So instead of the heat and eat, which is so prevalent, we could do the hookup cookup. Simple things with limited ingredients that would kind of change people up. But don't let these people get away without changing the story. So we're going to wrap about 5 so that we can get everyone's last comments before PoliTalks kicks us out. But I want to see what Malik can do to make it better.
Yeah.
At what point
so
did
Malik,
we come in at? Because it got so heated, I didn't know. Like, I took amusement in all the different characters. So that's the role I went into. What point would we come in at? Because there were 3 different things, actually 4 different things going on at the same time. So I don't want to feel like Michael Jackson and Beat It, where I got to do one of these numbers. Where are we at in the scene?
Why don't we have Malik? What do you think about this, Lindsay? He could handle the snarky gentrifier restaurateur, right?
I was
Who's not
gonna agree. So
Yeah, not in this community because he's like, oh, I love the Caribbean and the people of the Caribbean, but he's in this community so he can get in, make a money, and get out, right? So if
yeah.
Malik checked him and, aided the mother and daughter, so maybe we could rewind to there. How do you feel about
And
that?
I think that's a good idea. And I think that for the sake of we're using this as a platform to help teach everybody better ways to deal with things, that Malik does it in a way that's not, what's your problem? More of, so what restaurant do you own? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Do you not feed children at that restaurant? Do you want to help this lady out? So you bring it from up here and you're bringing it down, but at the same time, you're identifying name, restaurant, where are you? I may or may not ever go to that restaurant depending on your behavior right now and how you treat my people. So there are ways of trying to handle a conflict, which I'm currently learning because I'm really bad at, without doing blunt force trauma. I'm more blunt force trauma. And
So
sometimes it corrects the path.
Summer, ask Randall to use the snap machine again, and Kemit, be visibly annoyed. All right, 5.
So are we starting with me coming in?
We'll just see Summer ask Randall to use the snap machine, Kemit being visibly annoyed, and boom, what can you do to stymie the situation?
Mr. Farmer, you don't take snap, right?
Yeah, man, I got a brand new machine right here, so.
Here, give me some tomato zucchini.
Choops? That's what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Some cute emoji, ma'am.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Wait a minute. You're that overly oppressive restaurant owner, that new restaurant over there on King Street downtown in Christian State, I think.
You mean the restaurant with the tasty food that you can't get anywhere else in the world?
I heard.
No,
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, I got you. I don't know what guy
we don't take snap cards.
Excuse me, just for a second, ma'am. Hold on. I just got a quick question.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I think I know who this guy is. You do own that restaurant though, right?
Yeah, good food restaurant.
Yeah, tasty something or another. I heard the food was pretty good. I did hear the food was pretty good, but I also heard a couple of other things too, which is it's kind of bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have a guy who used to work at your restaurant named Daniel, a young boy from the States. Yeah, he's no longer working there though, right?
Nope.
Yeah, and I think you also had a young lady named Tabitha, and you had a Kamisha. I noticed all three of them are young local girls from here, from St. Croix. You're not from St. Croix though, right? No. Your business came down from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and talking to those three people, I just kind of hearing that they got cut loose. I don't know if it's your decision or not, but they got cut loose on some weird situations. So I was curious. I've been wanting to come down and talk to you, but I see you here, and I didn't want to interrupt this lady, but I'm noticing how you're treating this woman here and her daughter, right in front of her daughter. And I'm just wondering, do you really care about your business in this community, or are you just trying to make money?
So are you here to buy vegetables, or are you here to...
I am actually. I got my vegetables already. Me and Randall, we go way back. I only buy from him, and I see you're trying to purchase from him as well. So that's my dude. But I'm here again. I'm not here to beat you up.
Way back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Building relationships take you far here in St. Croix. I got you.
Together.
But I want to go back to this woman right here. This mother here. And then it's the way you treat her. I noticed you didn't treat her the way you treat Randall. Is it because you guys are business partners? I mean, because this mother here could be a customer in your restaurant. She might not even know that you own that restaurant. Her daughter might be a business partner in the future because
I want to be a chef. I want to be a chef.
I know my daughter actually does want to be a chef.
See,
We
and
don't
so
make ramen noodles.
see, and that's the type of comments that I'm talking about. You see, building relationships here in St. Croix can take you far. Just like you built one in Randall and you had an objective there and it's working well because I heard your restaurant has really good food. But if you don't have the buy-in by the people, not just the people out east, but the buy-in of all the people on this island, you're not going to survive. And I know a restaurant in Tinley is going to be out for about 3, maybe 5 years. Well, here in St. Croix, if you don't have the buy-in of the people, it's probably not going to last, but maybe 1 to 2 years at best. And then you're not going to have good work because you're turning over all these young local children that are working.
So we have
Mr. Farmer, he's smart.
we have people that spend good money at our restaurant.
Oh yes, indeed. I spend good money. This mother here, she probably spend good money.
Never seen her.
That's because
all right. Let's wrap it up.
Kim's like, I don't know this woman. What an ass.
Kemit stayed informed the whole time. Like,
you're not making me bad. But I will say that I felt safe and I felt seen and I felt like someone was in me and my daughter's corner. So even though the restaurant owner might have been being rigid, I no longer felt the need to be like, like
somebody else did it for you.
People from outside, right?
But so he wasn't supported. The restaurant owner was not supported at all. And so actually, while he stayed in role, he kind of tempered down a lot too, because Malik had him. Yeah, he was trying, but we were bringing recognition to the community not accepting it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have to close. I am so sad. This has been such a fun and interesting PoliTalks with Act Out Ensemble, Theater of the Oppressed VI. I hope our viewers tonight, I know the show dynamic was a little different. We released the reins, we shared some power today, and became participants and actors to show that we can have conversations, we can have difficult ones, and we have a platform to look at experiences from multiple lenses. And I'm going to use Randall's word where he said, like, we kind of premeditated what some of these feelings were that you go through in conflict. I want to remember that at the end of the month, the last Friday, Serenity Farms, you could contact Sayeeda, message Sayeeda, Randall, Lindsay, Malik, if you're interested in participating in any of the cohorts, want more information. I definitely want to have you guys back. I would love to see Frank in one of these situations, and we'll switch out and be like some observers. So please come back to our show. It's been a beautiful Tuesday night. I mean, we was lit for the whole time. Thank you. Act Out Ensemble, Theater of the Oppressed. You guys are amazing. And people out there in Facebook land, you are also amazing. Thank you, WTJX, for hosting us. I'm going to shut up now so we can all get off the screen. Bye.
Lita.
Adios.